Hi everyone, if you are watching a recording, we're going to start in 2 minutes. I think we fixed our technology from last week, the last 2 weeks. Been playing around. I don't know if you saw, but I was doing a little testing yesterday, and I think it worked out. So changed a few settings, hopefully that worked. Oh my, and I just realized I'm missing something here. Let's see. Is it this one? No. Okay. Hello? And that's Andy calling me because he's logging in from another computer. So if you have any questions when we're doing any of these lives, do go ahead and post it, and he will tell me as he is in my ear telling me what everyone is saying. So 1 more minute and we're going to get started. I'm assuming that everything is up and running. Oops. Just noticed something else here. Yes, we're being a little too relaxed these days. Getting all comfortable at 117 weeks. There we go. A little too comfortable, maybe. Ooh. So Andy's testing everything out there. Looks like Twitch is up and running. Let me take a look and see what I see on my side. I think everything is showing connected on my side, which is great. All right, fantastic. Let's get started. So today is Wednesday, July 6th. I hope everybody had a great holiday on Monday, enjoying the 4th of July. I know, lots of controversy, but we're going to go with it. And hopefully everybody is keeping safe and, anyway. Okay, so it's Wednesday. It's absolutely stormy outside and overcast and awful, but I don't think it's going to affect what we're doing inside because I think I fixed all of our technical issues. Well, I guess you'll be reporting back really quickly here really soon whether or not this video is actually working. So we are doing Keep It Simple. It's a series of projects that are just really simple and typically things that that you should have around. Projects that are really to the point but makes use of the product that you have, and a little bit of skill, not too much, a little bit of technique, but not too much, but a great outcome. So today we are doing Trapped. It was supposed to be a couple of weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, but of course everything sort of went haywire, so we pushed it to the end, and that's going to be the new thing that we're doing with the schedules. And no, I haven't posted July. I'll be posting it this evening. I finally got it done last night, and I just have to post the class for July, and we'll go from there. But so the thing is, if we are pushing any of the projects, we'll just push it to the end of the schedule instead of shifting the entire schedule over by 1 week. It's easier just to put it to the end. So going forward, that's what we're going to do. Anything that I post, if it doesn't happen, push it for 4 weeks and we'll do it at the other end. So Trapped is going to be this project. And all this is I trapped a bead inside of 2 pieces of copper. And what we're doing it sort of hot and cold, but mostly cold. Hot because we need to anneal the metal. Cold because we are doing a cold connection. So we're going to connect this with some silver wire, fine silver wire, and then we're just going to pierce a hole for our chain. So let's get started. What are you going to need? I am using 18 gauge copper sheet that I've already cut down. It's about 3/8 of an inch by 1.5 inches. This is going to be determined by the size of the bead that you have. So don't know. It's really sort of, you're going to have to sort of gauge it, and it's copper anyway. So I would, if you're doing this in silver, I would do it in copper first, test it out and see how much length you actually need. It really depends on how wide you make this piece, and then it shortens up your metal, blah blah blah. Okay, so there it is. You're going to need, let's see what else you need. You'll need a torch because we're annealing the metal. Even if you're doing this in silver, you're going to need a torch because you need to anneal that metal if you're going to bend this. A bench block, chasing hammer of some sort, a center punch, a flex shaft, a pair of pliers. Now today we're going to use a parallel plier because it's going to work a lot better, and you'll see why. But parallel pliers, if you don't have them, they're also called hand vices. Okay, and the difference between a parallel plier and a regular parallel plier, if you're looking here, you'll see that a regular pair of pliers, when you squeeze down, it looks sort of like an alligator, right? The pressure is in the back, whereas a parallel plier, you see, when you close it, it closes parallel, so the pressure is throughout. So this makes it really nice, so you're not pinching your metal on one end and not the other. So it makes it, it keeps from marring too. Another note that I want to point out here also is parallel pliers, when they first came out, or not when they first came out, originally, they've been out for a long time, did not have springs on the inside, okay? Because they're considered hand vices, you don't need them to be open, you need them to be closed. So why do you have springs on it forcing your hand open? So now parallel pliers, because it's been adapted and there's so many different types of parallel pliers, meaning there's all different kinds of heads, whereas like this is just more or less a chain nose. And then you can get a flat nose. It used to be only flat nose. Now you can get a chain nose, so it's a little bit more narrow. You can also get round nose, parallel pliers, that kind of thing. Not that I know the use of that one yet, or have found a use for that. But through all the different renditions of parallel pliers, they've now added springs. And what I've noticed about parallel pliers that have springs in them is that the springs are really, really strong, I guess you could say, and they really are forced open like this. So your hands are always open and you're constantly fighting it to grip it down. And I'm mentioning this because this topic came up over the weekend when I had a private here. And what that does, here's a problem. When your hand is constantly trying to squeeze, you are wearing out your hands. You're tiring them out. So take those springs out and allow your hands to relax when you're using your parallel pliers. So it's just a little side tip, but it's important. So if you're finding that your hands are really tired, take those springs out. Even in regular pliers, take these little, I don't even know, they're not springs, but whatever those are, that keep your pliers apart, because your hands naturally stay closed like this. They don't naturally stay open. So now you're just fighting to keep them down. And that, again, it tires out your hands, it causes carpal tunnel and all that good stuff. So you might want to consider doing that. Of course, there's benefits to having the spring. You should have a couple pairs that have the spring still in them, as I do. But for the most part, I take all of my springs out. I've talked about this a long, long time ago. I don't know, probably 100 weeks ago, right? But I think it's a good topic to continue to bring up and remind people of how to reduce the stress on their hands. Because what do? We work with our hands, right? So then, okay, today you also need a bench pin, a saw, a jeweler's saw, a round file, and some sort of a mandrel. I was thinking about using a wood mandrel, but I'm thinking that a metal mandrel like this, or even a bezel mandrel, would be really good for this. It's a little bit more stable, and again, you're going to see why here in a second. So let's just go ahead and jump in. Oh, of course, you're going to need some beads of some sort, or you can even use cabochons if you prefer to do a cabochon. That's fine too. So first things first, I'm going to anneal my metal to make it really soft and really pliable. Of course, and if you're using sterling silver, anneal it really well, okay? You'll want to do that. Trust me. So what's nice about copper is once you anneal it, especially when you're doing a hard anneal like this, it's going to be so nice and soft, which will make this project so nice and easy. I'm going to quench and throw it in my pickle really quickly here. And that's all the heat that you need. If you don't have pickle, especially on this project, you don't really need it. You can always clean it up with some sandpaper or some steel wool. So we'll throw it in pickle for a moment. And then, what do I need? Oops, you know what I forgot? I forgot to grab my caliper, which is sitting over there. I'll be right back. You're gonna need a caliper too. Well, a caliper will make your life a little bit easier. You could use a ruler, but caliper or a, actually I can reach with this one, or a divider. I'll be right back. So I'm opting for the divider, actually. There we are. So we can measure our stone. You want to know the depth of your stone so that you know how large of a hole you're going to need. Now here we don't want, because this is pillowed, right? Pillowed, where it's sort of, you want it to be a little bit bigger in the middle and it tapers to the side, right? You don't want to measure this depth here. You just want to measure a little bit on the outside, like so, because you want this to come through the hole that you make. It's just barely sticks out on the side right there. See? So we're just going to do a rough measurement. Nothing too precise on this one. And let's go ahead and grab our metal. Grab our metal out. So, oh, this one can use a little bit more time. And then we're going to mark where we want to punch our holes. So we're going to punch 4 holes. Why? 2 for the rivet, 1 for the slit, I guess, the opening, and 1 large one for the chain to go through. So I'm going to go fairly close to the top and bottom, and then right under that, and then right in the middle. So right under for the chain. Okay. Actually, now I think about this, hold on a second. I'm going to do that the opposite. I'm going to rivet and make a hole on top because it makes more sense. I don't know what I was thinking before. Oh, the things you figure out as you go along. This is part of the process. And this is why we do it in copper. And of course, after 185 projects, it gets expensive, so we do it in copper. Okay, so here we are, 2 pieces. And I'm going to tape this together. I'm sort of cheating because I don't want to have to drill and saw so precisely individually. If I tape them together, what happens is they're perfect. They'll be perfectly aligned. At least that's the hope anyway. You can use some painter's tape or you can use a masking tape. It doesn't matter here. I am going to use a little bit of Scotch tape because I can see right through it, and I'm going to drill right through the tape. I'm going to tape this as tight as possible, like so, and make sure it's as even as possible. And then we'll go ahead and center punch it at all those areas. You want to center punch it for drilling because it gets it started, right? So then your drill bit won't skid everywhere. All right, we'll go there. Set this aside. Pull out our flex shaft. If you don't have a flex shaft, then you will be doing this by hand with a pin vise. I know somebody who does, and that's no fun. But here we are. Lubricate your drill bit. We're using a high-speed drill bit. This is like a 42. So you'll want to drill a hole that's big enough for your chain or leather, whatever it is you're using. This is a good piece for leather. Right through like so. Okay. You sort of skipped on me. Yeah. Okay, it wasn't a great, you see it's offside, but it's fine because we're just demoing, right? I did not, here's the deal. I didn't tape this well enough and it slipped on me. Actually, I'm going to fix that just a little bit. It's going to still be cockeye, but I'm going with that. And then we're going to take a little bit more tape out because it didn't stay together. When I drilled, the piece on the bottom just sort of slipped. Tape is cheap, use it. I know, I should have just really taped it better when I was doing it before. Okay, just like that. And then I'll switch out to a smaller drill bit. So the drill bit size that you use is going to be up to you and the size rivet you want to make. So if you're using a 16 gauge piece of wire, then you want to go ahead and use a smaller drill bit, or sorry, a larger drill bit. You're using 18 gauge, you use a smaller drill bit. By the way, drill bit sizes and size chart and gauge size chart, if you want a place that has it all, if you want to find it all in one place, I do have it on the qfarmgray.com site. So you can check it out there. I have all the charts on one page, so you don't have to go digging for this information. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and drill in all those other areas. A little bit of cut lube. Like so. Go. And I'm just going to sort of drill through from that back side too, just to clean that up just a teeny weeny little bit. Okay. Set that aside. Let's pull the tape off. Okay. Right, so I'm using 16 gauge fine silver. I prefer fine silver because it's soft and it just does the job really well. I'm going to take out a nice pair of flush cutters. We love our Lindstroms, that's for sure. And it fits perfectly in there. And then trim this. So I'm giving it about 2 millimeters on each side. I know it looks really long, but I'm going to trim the back side a little bit more. Okay. See how long that is? It's like way too long. Okay, pull out our hammer, and we're just going to rivet this in place. Just like that, nice and flat. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and take off of there. Actually, I shouldn't have pulled off the piece on the back side. I should have kept that, but I will take it off here because I did another test one earlier, and it was just really hard to get the tape off after I saw it. So I'm going to take it off now. Okay. I know I should not be using my nails as a tool, but I do it all the time. Okay. There we go. I'm going to retape the bottom just to keep it together for sawing. Sure, it's nice and even. because that's going to have to come back together later anyway. This is already together at the top. So now you want to take this measurement from your divider or your caliper, and this is going to be how wide you're going to go. And where's my piece? And then you need to measure this width because it's going in like this, right? So you need to measure how long this is going to be. And again, it doesn't have to be too crazy precise here. I'm eyeballing from that end to that end, so it's sort of in the middle. You do want this in the middle though. And that is, I think you can see that that is about the width of what I want. So we're gonna go approximately here to here to here to here. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and switch cameras and take out your saw. Put this in with the shape facing up or your markings facing up so you can actually see where you're going. There you are. Slip this in to the back side. Tighten it. Okay, and so now we're going to put this here with the back end on your bench pin or on your bench. Unscrew this side, and I'm pushing down on it. You can see the pressure on my thumb there. Pushing down on it to create tension. There we are. A little bit more. Better. Okay. A little bit of cut lube. So now we'll cut the hole. And yeah, I'm working on both sides of it at the same time, working with both pieces because I want it to be even. You could cut one at a time and then trace out your hole to the other one and then try to match that up. Yeah, I know. It's so much easier this way. And you're basically cutting out some work because you're cutting at the same time. And I know most of you really, really, really hate sawing. I like sawing, so this doesn't bother me. Because this is a very heavy metal, piece of metal, I have a heavier saw blade on here. It's actually a 3, not a 3/0, but a 3. And every so often, oh, so much better to lubricate. So you want to lubricate every so often. And work your way around. Okay, I can tell you right now, I cut a hole that is way too small. Yeah. As much as I marked it, I was sort of ignoring my markings. Let's be honest. So I'm just gonna go in. You can take out a file, a little needle file, and fix this if you want, but I find that it's a lot easier and faster to just saw it out. So now I'm going to look here to see if maybe I need to adjust my hole if I'm too far to one side or the other. So I think I'm going to go back and lengthen it this way. Yeah. So I'm sawing 2 pieces of 18 gauge at the same time, so it's really heavy. Okay, I'm going to take this out and check it. If I need to do anything more, then I'll put it back in. Oh, hey, that's pretty good. You can see there. That works. All right. Woohoo! You probably still want to put a file onto this and make it smooth. Just to work out some of the sawing that you have done and smooth it out. Another thing I would do too is I would take my file and work at an angle around the edges, just gently, to create a slight bevel. It just creates a little bit more of a finish product instead of just leaving it cut like that. Okay. Let's clean it up. Little sandpaper would probably be good too. And I would do the sanding now instead of later, because once you, it's easier just to sand a flat surface than a curved surface. And you saw how I scratched the my surface really quickly there when I missed with my saw blade. I missed with my file. And this will also help smooth out the cut that you just made, right? You see there's still some tape there. By the way, if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. Andy will relay that to me. I haven't heard anything from Andy in a while. Andy, you still there? Yes. So again, the question is what size blade? It is a size 3. It's really heavy. You can use a 1, you can use a 2, but this is not a 3/0, right? It's a 3. Cleaned up. You probably want to take out a large file and file off the corners too and create a nice radius. If you have any sharp edges, you want to go ahead and file and sand that again, just to remove any sharpness that you have. After all, you are wearing it. If you wanted to, you could saw this into more of a oval shape instead of a rectangle shape. That would be nice. It gives it some, even more dimension, right, and depth. Okay, so here, let's switch out cameras again and go to the other one, probably be better. Okay, so here, we'll pull out our parallel pliers, and we're just gonna hold it. And you wanna make sure that your line, you create a 90-degree angle to your metal. Okay, you see, it's a bit of an optical illusion here, but it's right about there. See, you want that line to be 90 degrees. You don't want to just line it to this line because your pliers are at an angle. It's not straight. So there, and then because this was anneal, this should move fairly easily. I need my chain. Where's my, where, I just had it. I need my flat nose pliers. There you are. Okay. And I'm going to move it out. Oops. Move it out like so. So how's the technology working, Andy? Is it working today? We're not hesitating any? Okay, so you see I'm butterflying this out. And it makes for a nice bend there. So then I'm going to put it right onto my mandrel. And let's see, we're going to hold it like so. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here, give myself a little room to work. When I'm zoomed in too far, you guys can't see what I'm doing. I can see it. So then we're going to put it right back on the mandrel, and I'm going to bend it around. But this is sort of tricky. You know, you could put this on a vise now that I think about it, and then bend it on the mandrel instead of struggling with two hands like this. But there it is. Bring it back around. I'm estimating what I need for my bead. Just eyeballing it. And you don't want it to be too big because you're going to have to bring it all the way back. And I think I'm going to try to use it like so. Right in here. And look at that. Oops. Okay, almost. A little too far out. Okay, not quite, but it's almost there, so you can see. And it's not quite in this hole on this side, so I'm going to make an adjustment. I'm going to bend it in just to tighten that, okay? You're trying to create tension, and the holes help it stay in place. There we are. There it is. Good. Okay. This is good. Give it a good squeeze, and look at that. So it's slightly hanging out on each side, which is great. It's what I wanted. And it does fill in the hole nicely. It doesn't have much movement, which is good too. But here is the problem. You can see this. You can see I have more of a curve here than I do here. And why is that problematic? Because of that, my hole has shifted. Okay. You could have, if you wanted, not made the hole up front. Tape this and then drill the hole, which has its own challenges. So what I'm going to do to make that correction is I'm going to have to recorrect my two curves so that they're a lot more even to each other. And let's see, hold on. What do I want to use? So I want them to be a little bit more even, and then that way the holes will line up. But I can't decide what I want to use. I think we are going to pull out our bail making pliers. I don't want to use that either. That doesn't make me happy. All right, maybe this one. See, I didn't want to use that because if I was to use the bail making pliers, I would have marred the outside. So maybe we should use these. There we go. See how I made that curve a little bit wider? And notice it's coming together a little bit better. This, however, does, because I opened this up, this has to close a little tiny bit. And that, look at that. The holes together again. Okay, hopefully that adjustment, hopefully I did it evenly enough so that my bead still fits in there. So for me, the hardest part is right here, putting this bead in there. We all have onesie twosie beads hanging around, right? Because remember, beading was a gateway drug. So this is something you can do with those leftovers. Okay, I have to open this up just a little bit. So there was a question about a wood dowel. Can you use a wood dowel? Yes, you can. However, I chose not to use a wood dowel because I was putting so much pressure on it. I just felt that the wood dowel would just get, it wasn't enough. There was too much give. But look at that. Yay. And look at that. It matches. Woohoo! Okay, there we are. All right, let's put a piece of wire in there. Let's trim that up. So I'm cutting off the beveled end because I'm using a flush cutter, an ultra flush cutter. Like so. And when you're riveting this stuff, you want to make sure that you do it evenly. So you don't want to just hit one side. You want to flip it back and forth, okay? And notice I'm hanging this off of my bench block and just hitting on the one side. There we go. Okay. Needs a slight adjustment here. It went wonky on me. See that? It shifted. Oh, you're not big enough. So let's shift you back. There we go. Okay. Okay, so here you can see it's not really as together as it is up on top. So I'm going to help it out. Give it some good hits and flatten it out. All right, I'm still slightly off, but you know what the other thing too is, honestly, when I cut these, it wasn't that great. So how you would fix this is just sit here and file it until you get all the sides nice and even. Or if it's too much, then pull out your saw and saw it. But that is pretty much it. This was a really, it's a really simple project. It has its challenges, and it's about precision. This one is a bit more about precision than anything, and understanding how to get there. Okay, I did a lot of eyeballing, but eyeballing is a skill that I think everyone should work on. And measuring is great too, but eyeballing has its advantages. And even though I measured this, I did a lot of eyeballing to get it there. Okay, so that's my Keep It Simple project trapped. So we trapped a bead today. Any questions, do send it out to me. You can Facebook me, you can send me a message there, you can email me. You can definitely find all these products if you haven't done any cold connecting. We have all these little pieces and parts by way of tools on the urbanbeater.com, so you can check that out there. I posted a bunch of links to the tools that we used today. Anyway, so what's going on in the next couple weeks? Well, I will not be back for another 2 weeks because next week we will be doing in person at Peninsula School of Art in Fish Creek, Wisconsin. It's Door County. I always say Door County. It's because it is. and it is Fish Creek up there. So you're up in Wisconsin or Chicago area, do come up for the week and join us. There's a few spots left. There's a couple sold out classes, but there are several that still have a couple of seats left, so you can definitely join us up there. If you need a quick fix of classes, since Bead and Button didn't happen again and won't be happening again. So join me up there along with a bunch of friends. We'll have a great week, and then I'll be back because I'll be traveling, but packing on Friday, traveling on Monday, and doing the same the following week. So 2 weeks from today, we will be back, and I think we're going to be doing the Simplicity earrings. That's going to be a gold-filled earring. I'll post a kit for that sometime soon, probably today. And anyway, so thanks for hanging out. I hope you learned a little something. I know several of you have been waiting for this project and seeing how this was going to happen. I hope you learned a little something. If you do make it, do post a picture for me so I can see that you know it was worth showing you and that you got something out of it. All right. So until then, thanks for liking our videos and sharing the videos. We really need those algorithms to make all this work, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great